podcast, wide open whoop sessions. Mind, body, soul, no second guessing. Spilling truths, no sugarcoat dressing. Wisdom hunting, cash and knowledge blessing. Hands to the streets, wide open the road. Eyes on the prize, ain't no time for jokes, lies and eyes. These chains we roll, truth on the mic, destiny and vote. Hands to the streets, wide open.
Hey, this is Audi Rob with Wide Open Whoop Podcast with information to make you want to say wow. Anyway, we're coming with the Alien Contact and NASA Exposed Part 3. This is the beginning of the second video, but I've been breaking it down in segments 30 minutes, so it won't be too long. But anyway, yes, pay close attention to this video, especially for all those who haven't really believed in UFOs, but this information right here shows you how far it goes back and how many people knew about these UFOs and what they've been doing all along during the time period where you didn't know nothing about what was going on until now. But it's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to come forth. But this video right here will bring you a little bit more closer into the UFO contact community and how far this stuff goes back and the big cover-up. It's the big cover-up. But anyway, without further ado, let's get to this video here. Let's get going. Let's go. Please like and subscribe. They're here.
In 2006, the American Embassy in Lithuania received the following cable from the then Lithuanian Prime Minister, Albinas Januska. He stated that a group of UFOs are making their influence from the cosmos, and that there exists a decreasing group of persons who are trying to rationally analyze the situation and objectively evaluate what is happening. In 2007, the Japanese Chief Cabinet Secretary said, "I am sure that unidentified flying objects exist." A former NASA astronaut, Dr. Brian O'Leary, stated that there is abundant evidence that we are being contacted, that civilizations have been visiting us for a very long time, that their appearance is bizarre from any type of traditional, materialistic Western point of view, that these visitors use the technologies of consciousness. They use toroids. They use co-rotating magnetic disks for their propulsion systems. That seems to be a common denominator of the UFO phenomenon. Prime Ministers, Chief Cabinet Secretaries and NASA astronauts all testifying to the truth that thousands of ordinary people across the globe know as fact.
You can't go this long. You can't go this long with this much information and for it to be ignored. So, yes, basically, when it comes down to this UFO thing, it's been out here for a minute. Okay, people, it's been out here for a minute, and no way in the world is all these thousands and thousands of people ain't been seeing nothing. Okay, so now the government's trying to come out for those who have not been hip to watching the congressional hearings. The government has now come out and said that this is true. There is these uh these aircraft, spacecraft have been popping up. We don't know what they are, but they are here. But see, they've always been here, and you've been telling everybody that we were crazy. But now it's about to come and bite you in the ass now because you was telling everybody that we were crazy. Come to find out we were not crazy. Now things about to get very interesting. Let's get back into the movie.
That aliens exist, that they have and are visiting our
Always.
planet. The world's largest and most powerful organisation with the biggest array of technology ever known to man is NASA. They too know the truth, and they are covering it up.
Cover up. Big cover up.
Recently, the number of known alien planets has increased by 60%.
Known alien planet. Known.
NASA's very own Kepler Space Telescope has discovered over 1,300 new exoplanets, many of which they claim might very well contain life. The total number now stands at well over 3,000 and counting. Paul Hertz, director of the Astrophysics Division at NASA, said, "Most stars in our galaxy have planetary systems, and a reasonable fraction of stars in our galaxy have potentially habitable planets." The number is increasing all the time. Most of the stars within our own galaxy have planetary systems that are potentially habitable. Millions of humans across thousands of years have witnessed them, and yet they are still denied.
Not no more.
Alan Stofan, a chief scientist at NASA, said that there are strong indications of life beyond Earth, and it would likely be obtained within the next decade. She went so far as to state that this would be definite evidence. How would she know such a thing already? She said, "We are on the verge of things that people have wondered about for millennia. Within all of our lifetimes, we're going to understand that there is life on other bodies in the solar system. We're going to understand the implications of that for life here on Earth."
They've always been here.
A massive percentage of what NASA actually does is highly secret.
Another reason why NASA is so quiet right now, and they're really denying a whole lot of things, is also because that they are the ones in charge of the station, the base station on the moon. There is a station on the moon, a base on the moon, so on the far side, along with other bases, along with our alien friends. The moon is it's satellite within itself. It is hollow, as a hollow part within the moon. If you want to get a more greater aspect of the moon, you check out the movie Moonfall. The movie is called Moonfall. They got to show you the truth, and they usually do it through a movie, and then they entertain you through it, so you think it's science fiction or make believe, but they'll let you know that it is real. But we just have to show you. We do have to show you, so in a way that it entertains you. But if you look behind the scenes and you really resonate with it, you can see this is the real thing. Let's get on with the movie here.
There is good reason. NASA originated in the late 1950s, emerging from military research. Its main staff were military, and it has always maintained a very close link. Billions of dollars of research is carried out by NASA on behalf of the military. It is their purpose to protect the people of America from whatever the threat may be, and this includes panic. Recently, there has been a massive increase, albeit gradually, of information and suggestions coming from NASA about the possibility of life out there. They are already getting close for disclosure, and it must be done slowly and carefully, because the media are hungry wolves who love to liven up the public. Nobody wants international panic. It would be catastrophic.
Wow, come on now. Don't panic, y'all. No need to panic. It's gonna be all right.
Recently, thousands of people cried cover up when NASA's International Space Station live feed was cut suddenly, just as a UFO passed in clear view. The object was a horseshoe shape, and nobody has come forward with an explanation. Later footage recorded by people not working at NASA reveals a ship leaving the Earth's atmosphere and docking with another UFO, neither of which are NASA's.
For real, for real. That's wild.
This is just one of hundreds of such cases, and it grows daily. The cover-ups began many years ago. Scott Carpenter was a test pilot and astronaut at NASA for many years. He said, "At no time when the astronauts were in space were they alone. There was a constant surveillance by UFOs."
Now they're watching us.
What exactly did he mean? He meant that the astronauts were constantly being buzzed by UFOs. There have indeed been several astronauts spoken out about their experiences, but most are silenced. Colonel Buzz Aldrin was with NASA for years and one of the first men to set foot upon the moon. He was a national hero. He saw and experienced things. These experiences affected him. He had a nervous breakdown. At least, that's the official story. Author Fred Stecklin claims that Aldrin was silenced. The reason was very simple. Aldrin saw alien bases on the moon. It is claimed by hundreds of investigators that actual close-up photographs of the moon have been tampered with. They have been airbrushed to remove what is really there, hidden from our sight.
Now you heard it for yourself. Alien bases on the moon. Buzz saw it first, and they silenced them. Buzz off.
It is a stated fact that all photographs, then and now, are vetted by NASA before release to the public. Why? If there's nothing to hide, then why?
So don't believe any picture.
Aldrin claimed that they were not the first people to set foot upon the moon. Somebody, or something, had been there before. He claims he took photographs of footprints, never released by NASA. This is what the author said. Alien vehicles flew within 50 feet of a US space vehicle for one full Earth orbit, and then the AV departed. Again, while Aldrin was present, Buzz Aldrin had a nervous breakdown because of these events and the pressure not to talk.
Wow. Check that out. They got pressured. They went through this whole program. Buzz went through a nervous breakdown because all the stuff he kept seeing with the UFOs, he couldn't talk about it. So he had a breakdown. So this stuff is real, man. Y'all going about your daily lives just thinking that this stuff ain't real. Well, it's about to be in your face because prepare for contact in 2027. Let's see if you're going to be going about your daily lives then, or are you going to stop and take a look at this? But then you probably be panicking. But there's no need to panic, but you don't know that because you haven't been paying attention and you're distracted trying to get to the next damn Beyonce concert, trying to get to the next damn game, trying to get to the next. In survival mode, either you're too partying too much, or you're in survival mode trying to survive to get to the next thing and pay the bills and get that job and get. Hey, it's deep, but this stuff has always been true, and no matter what they said in church, they can't explain it either. But they will try to explain it. But don't you fall for it. Let's get back for it. Movie time.
There have been 22 deaths, many suicides, at JSC in Houston. No astronaut who has seen AVs or ETs is allowed to talk about it, even amongst themselves. If they do, and are caught, they may be fined, publicly humiliated, imprisoned, or have all pensions and future salaries taken away.
Can't do that now. Check whistleblower law.
Maybe we will never know what Aldrin and the others saw, but they weren't the last astronauts to report strange phenomena, only to be later silenced. Buzz Aldrin himself said, "There was something out there that was close enough to be observed, and what could it be?" Mike Collins decided he thought he could see it in the telescope, and he was able to do that, and when it was in one position. That had a series of ellipses, but when you made it a real shot, it was sort of L-shaped. Now obviously, the three of us were not going to blurt out, "Hey Houston, we got something moving alongside of us, and we don't know what it is." We weren't about to do that, because we know that those transmissions would be heard by all sorts of people, and who knows what somebody would have demanded that we turn back because of aliens or whatever the reason is. So we didn't do that, but we did decide we'd just cautiously ask Houston where, how far away was the SIVB.
Old footage. Kind of updated.
Dr. David Baker, a senior NASA scientist, said, NASA knew very little about the object reported by the Apollo 11 crew. It was obviously an unidentified flying object. But such objects were not uncommon, and the history of even Earth orbit space flights going back over the previous years indicated that several crews saw objects. There were a lot of people within the program who went off later and became convinced that UFOs existed, and that led to some concern on NASA's part, where they got the agreement of the crew never to publicly talk about these things for fear of ridicule. How many astronauts have been silenced or refused to talk, we cannot say. But where there is one, there are more. What we do know is that there are literally thousands of pilots, both military and commercial, who have witnessed UFOs visiting the Earth, and not just above the atmosphere.
Yep. And being quiet about it too. I
Some
know a pilot.
can't be silenced. A woman known as Jackie recently came forward. Her name is being kept a secret for her own safety. She claims she worked for NASA and that she actually witnessed humans on Mars. Through the live feed that goes directly into NASA, she saw humans in spacesuits walking on the planet. If she really worked for NASA, then just how was she able to see such a thing?
Humans on Mars. I'm gonna tell you the theory. What's up with that?
It turns out
The humans that are on Mars. So check it out. There's humans on the moon too. See, when that crash happened back in 1947 in Roswell, they started reverse engineering craft. They got it down pat to where they got it to fly like it's supposed to fly. And they also got wormhole technology with the aliens that they've been having contact with. You know, the ones they've been doing the treaty with. You know, you can abduct some humans from the planet as long as you return them to where you abducted them from and do not harm them, and you have to erase their memory. Yes. Just like Men in Black, erase their memory. So, yeah. So now they went from the Hubble telescope to the James Webb telescope. And believe me, that telescope, whatever that they discovered out there and they thought it might be a nice planet to move to, they went to that planet using the space craft that they reverse engineered along with the wormhole technology to get there. They've always been out sailing flying around in the universe for a while now. Our U.S. military, the Secret Space Force, oh yeah, they've been flying around the planets. You guys don't know about this, but thank God for remote viewing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this stuff is true. It's always been true. We've been down here flying around in airplanes, and they're up there in space in their reverse engineered craft. Okay. But anyway, let's get back to the picture here. It's looking pretty good here.
That she was working on the downlink telemetry from the Viking lander, the very first vehicle to ever send images back from Mars.
Listen.
Here's what she said in a live interview on Coast to Coast Radio. That old Viking rover was running around. Then I saw two men in spacesuits. Not the bulky suits we normally use, but they looked protective. They came over the horizon, walking to the Viking explorer.
Wow.
When she saw this, along with 6 other colleagues, they immediately reported it. We ran upstairs, but they locked the door and taped paper over the door so we couldn't see. My question is, were they our guys? None of her colleagues have ever come forward, but there are hundreds of reports of secret space programs starting right back in the 1960s. There is little surprise that past employees want to remain secret. Apart from the fact they would probably be in danger from the secret services, they would also find themselves ridiculed by the media and a brainwashed public. And so, information comes forward anonymously.
So one must be quite cautious.
In 2005, an ex-employee of the Defence Intelligence Agency began leaking classified information about an alien exchange program called Project Serpo.
Oh, it's in here. Yes. Alien
This project
exchange.
began when the authorities recovered aliens from the crash at Roswell. The ex-DIA employee stated that it was one of the aliens, known as EBE-1, who suggested the exchange program and even helped organise a special team of humans to visit his home world, known as Serpo, in the Zeta Reticuli system. This happened in 1965, and the team stayed on Serpo until 1978. 2 died there, 2 stayed on the planet, and the rest returned. All have died due to radiation poisoning.
Wow.
All of this makes complete sense when we consider the thousands of abductees across the globe who claim to have been taken away and seen strange men in black. These men in black now have a reason to exist as facilitators of the alien exchange program. Of course, the aliens could be watching us and abducting us for another reason, and somebody at NASA has a theory on that. Rich Terrile is the director of the Center for Evolutionary Computation and Automated Design at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He posited the theory that may upset a few believers in God. His theory is that the real God is in fact a universal computer program. Here's what he said. Right now, the fastest NASA supercomputers are cranking away at double the speed of the human brain. His point being that more advanced computers would be even faster. If you make a simple calculation using Moore's law, which claims computers double in power every 2 years, you'll find that these supercomputers, inside of a decade, will have the ability to compute an entire human lifetime of 80 years, including every thought ever conceived during that time, in the span of a month.
Wow. Doesn't that sound like that they're doing something like the acoustic records? So a computer that would record everything in that lifetime? Sounds like the acoustic records. They're trying to duplicate it. Let's go.
In fact, Moore's law is being proven incorrect because quantum computing will do these calculations in milliseconds. In quantum mechanics, particles do not have a definite state unless they're being observed.
Ooh.
Many theorists have spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to explain this. One explanation is that we're living within a simulation, seeing what we need to see when we need to see it. What I find inspiring is that even if we are in the simulation, or many orders of magnitude down in levels of simulation, somewhere along the line something escaped the primordial ooze to become us, and to result in simulations that made us, and that's cool. This explanation for our existence may sound even crazier than one that includes a god, but it does explain some things, such as why we can't find alien life, even though the mathematical equations show there should be an abundance. The cosmic computer won't allow it. Yet. Any beings outside of this massive simulation would not think the same as those inside the simulation. They would be different, alien. If they occasionally popped in and out of this grand matrix, they would appear the same as life in our existence, but in reality be simple cloaks or holograms. Such a theory explains beautifully the hundreds of anomalies we come across when researching aliens. The ability of craft to move in seemingly physical, impossible ways. The access to our minds when we are abducted. The way aliens appear and disappear. The archetypal shapes, eyes, heads and more that seem to come from somewhere in our deep subconscious, as if they are images created at the root base of the universal program. Suddenly, and strangely, things could start to make some kind of sense. Everything we do would be monitored, our explorations of space watched, our evolution monitored, our weapons, technology, communications, politics, everything.
And everything is being monitored too. If you notice that the space, what you call the military bases that we just had invaded by the drones, well, those drones were our dark shadow government drones. That's why they couldn't really tell the government that you see in front of the news. They couldn't tell them anything. They couldn't tell them anything because the dark shadow government told them to keep their mouth shut and just deal with what's going on right now. You're going to see more of that. It's coming up real soon. Be prepared for it. But here we go. I'm going to see probably much more of this video, how much more we can get in here.
Exactly like the reports we have from thousands of people across the globe. As we watch the animals in a zoo, so too would these true aliens be watching us. Not from another planet, not from another solar system or galaxy, but from outside of the simulation itself. Now there's a thought. Now we have several theories to go on. Real alien life forms from our realm of reality that travel across the vast expanse of space to visit us. Real life forms that do not travel, but somehow bend the quantum world to appear before us. Or visitors to the zoo that is our existence. We should always remember these theories when looking at the evidence, such as the following. There is a man who worked for NASA as a spacecraft operator at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. He was involved in over 650 missions, including the Mercury and Apollo expeditions and the Space Shuttle period. His name is Clark McClelland. And it was during this time, on the Space Shuttle mission, that he witnessed something very strange. According to McClellan, he was monitoring the mission from his desk at the Kennedy Launch Control Center when he saw something. Here's his statement. I, Clark C. McClelland, former spacecraft operator, Space Shuttle Fleet, personally observed an 8 to 9 foot tall ET on 27-inch video monitors while on duty in the Space Kennedy Center, Launch Control Center. The ET was standing upright in the Space Shuttle payload bay, having a discussion with 2 tethered US NASA astronauts. I also observed on my monitors the spacecraft of the ET, as it was in a stabilized, safe orbit to the rear of the Space Shuttle main engine pods. I observed this incident for about 1 minute and 7 seconds. Plenty of time to memorize all that I was observing. It was an ET and alien starship.
See? Always been here, man. Always.
Could he have been mistaken, seeing something different, and his mind filled in the gaps? He points out that in many years he was working on these things, he had strong visual recognition of crafts created and flown by the human race, whether secret or otherwise. He claims that he was not the only witness and that colleagues secretly confided that they too had witnessed the alien.
There you go.
Surely the man is making it all up and never worked at NASA. The fact is, he did. There is photographic evidence, and NASA have never denied his employment. He has also pointed a finger strongly at NASA for being a military establishment. Here's what he said. The Pentagon owns NASA. Some of the Department of Defense missions I participated in were top secret. Those missions carried TS satellites and other space mission hardware into orbit, where several crews met with ETs.
Wow. Several crews.
He claims that the US government has been keeping a secret a long-standing military alliance with aliens for decades.
See, I told you. They've been doing this for a
In
while,
league
y'all.
with the Human Exchange Program.
We're gonna hold it up right there. See, we've been part of the Human Exchange Program so we can be abducted. The military has been. They made a deal with the military, with the secret government, that they can, with the aliens, that they can abduct us as long as they return us back to where they got us from and erase our memory. Some people got to upgrade when they got abducted, even though they got a little implant. They got to upgrade. You know, they can, have little powers. They can, telepathy. We all got ability to telepathy, but it just brings their powers to the forefront since they've been abducted. But anyway, this is deep. We're going to come back and pick it up from this right here, because like I said, I don't want to make this too long, no hour long. Let's get back into this this next part 4 that's going to be coming up for the alien contact and NASA exposed. Part 4 coming. So yeah, it's peace, love, and light, and let's get on. We're going to finish this on out here, but yeah, this is deep. Love and light for everybody, and we'll see you on the next one.
Blast wide open, woke sessions, mind, body, soul, no second guessing, smelling truths, no sugarcoat dressing, wisdom hunting, cash and knowledge blessing. Hands to the streets, wide open the road, eyes on the prize, ain't no time for jokes, lies and eyes. These chains we roll, truth on the mic, destiny and vote. Hands to the